Hello everybody, thanks for joining me. Today is Holocaust Memorial Day, when we remember perhaps the worst example of human evil and inhumanity. The details of what happened in the concentration camps are well documented and we know about it. Somehow something needs to help bring home to us again the horrific nature of what went on. And I remember watching some years ago a film called Shoah, which contained interviews with people who were imprisoned there or who lived nearby. And looking back at my notes, a couple of things struck me. One was that the people whose job it was to remove the bodies from the gas chambers to the incinerator were beaten if they referred to what they were carrying as victims or as corpses. The words that were supposed to be used were the German for doll, or another one was rag. This complete disrespect for the humanity of those who had died. And another example of the inhumanity, the cruelty of the system, small detail really, but one account told us how when a contingent arrived at the camp, they were lined up and addressed and told that work needed to be done and what jobs did the people have. And one would say, I was a tailor, and the answer would be, well, we definitely need tailors. We'll find a work for you. And someone else would say a nurse, and someone else would say a mason or a carpenter. We'll find work for you. And of course, it was all a charade. It was building up their hope that they would be among those who might be saved, when, of course, they were just going to suffer the same fate as everybody else. And yet, through the horror of those days, there were occasional glimpses of humanity. For example, there was an interview with one of the farmers whose land was adjacent to the camp, and he described how he would hear the screams every day and said that sadly he got used to it. But he used to take water to the prisoners when they were accessible to him, and knew that there was great risk that they might get shot for doing it because the guards might have just decided that wasn't appropriate. But they went on bringing water to the prisoners as a way of doing what they could to support them. And there was the example, which wasn't in the film but I read elsewhere, of the little girl who saw among the bodies being carted from the gas chamber to the incinerator, the hand just dangling down of her little brother. And so she followed them into the charnel house and found her brother, took off a blouse that she had been given by her mother and laid it over him, kissed his little hands and his head, and then went outside and cried. And a guard came up to her and said, "Crying is forbidden." And that, for me, highlights the distinction between our humanity and our inhumanity. And I want today, I think, just to hope and pray that humanity triumphs, to make sure everything I do does express respect for people and regards everybody as important and significant and not a rag, not a doll. And that I support organisations which work today against that kind of dehumanisation of people, Amnesty and Reprieve and Freedom from Torture. And to give thanks to God that God is always on the side of those striving to retain humanity over against the power of evil. And I think to hold on to today some words of Desmond Tutu, spoken in the middle of apartheid, that other example of human evil and inhumanity to other human beings. He said this: "Goodness is stronger than evil. Love is stronger than hate. Light is stronger than darkness. Life is stronger than death. Victory is ours through him who loved us." A hope I'm going to cling on to on this Holocaust Memorial Day.